We're on week 5, lesson 4 of the unit. So we're going to go over our agenda, our what, why, and how. You have no red ink to do today. You're going to finish the article from yesterday, and you are going to submit your last article guide. So our what, why, and how, as you know, we are reading an article from the textbook that's going to allow you to think about central ideas and supporting details in a text in order to prepare you for when you are creating your own argument and you need to talk about an idea with supporting details. At the end of the day today, you're going to submit your reading guide, which I'm going to walk you through again. So no red ink. You have a no red ink assignment to complete for today. Good luck and enjoy. So, but is 16 really too young to drive a car? So you all are continuing to read through the arguments that were made. Your guide for today looks like this. It specifically says on here, right, day 2, Thursday, the 30th. And gives you the page numbers again. And we want you to think about remembering that authors provide details to support the central idea of their piece or the argument or the theme or their message, right? And so when they have effective supporting details like graphs and charts, expert opinions, right, statistics, quotes, all that kind of stuff, information from studies, it makes it more likely that readers are going to not only accept what they're saying, but probably agree with the author's argument about the central idea. So you're going to go through the book. You have just a handful of things that you're going to do. So the first piece asks you to look at the author's argument, specifically from lines 135 to 160, and it asks you to pull out 2 details. So up here, right, we clarify for you supporting details such as graphs, charts, expert opinions, etc., etc. So those are 2 of the things that you are going to look for. Then this box asks you, are the details effective in making you agree with the author? Yes or no, why or why not? So you need to say, right, these details do make me agree with the author on this issue because blah, blah, blah. Or these details don't actually influence me to agree with the author because blah, 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 right? Maybe you could say something along the lines of, I disagree with the author because detail 1 doesn't seem to be from a credible source. That could be something that you write in this box here. So then the other thing that you're going to notice on here is the idea of an idiom. So it says the authors, particularly the one in this story, right, sometimes use descriptive language and idioms to make their point more clear. Sometimes an idiom, just like with figurative language, is used to sort of emphasize a point. And an idiom is an expression that has a meaning that is different from the meaning of its individual words, or the literal meaning, right? So, for example, in the text, the author uses the idiom leaving the nest. And I'm sure that those of you who have friends who are seniors in high school, or you have siblings that are seniors in high school, or maybe freshmen in college this year, or you have cousins that have gone off to college or whatever, their parents talk about them leaving the nest. And sometimes parents who don't have any kids at home because they're all in college are called empty nesters. They obviously don't literally live in a nest. Students, when they go off to college, aren't physically leaving their nest, but they are leaving home, right? So this idiom refers to individuals leaving their parents' care to live on their own. Right, so that is an idiom that the author uses to sort of enhance their point, right? They're trying to emphasize that making decisions and becoming independent are a part of that natural growing process when one becomes an adult. So thinking about idioms, right? Thinking about how you can incorporate those to emphasize your point. And then the other thing that we want you to think about is when you're reading an informational text specifically, right? So a text that's not a creative piece, not a fiction piece, it's informing you about something, right? You as the reader need to pay close attention to the facts and the details and other supporting details and information, right? Sometimes you as the reader have to weigh the relevance of that support and decide if it actually is helpful in understanding the central idea. So you might have someone arguing about brain development, and they might have two really strong pieces of evidence that are facts and statistics from a research done on the human brain. And then their third source might be an interview with someone who isn't really credible, right? They don't really have the background to talk to us about the brain, and yet they're being used in a paper, right? So you as the reader have to think about the relevance, and you have to think about what is particularly convincing to you, right? What convinces you from those facts and statistics in the article to sort of help you to go along with the author or to agree with the author. So for example, if Mr. McCulley wrote a paper and he has information from Oxford University from a research study that was done, and he has information from, let's say, University of Wisconsin-Madison with research that was done, and then his third piece of evidence is coming from Wikipedia, right? That probably isn't going to be especially convincing, and it's probably not credible, right? It might not be from Wikipedia, it might be from somewhere else, but it might not really be relevant to supporting the central idea of whatever he's trying to argue or his, main points. You also want to think too about which facts might not provide the whole picture. It is very common for people to cherry pick, right? You guys know what cherry picking is? It is very common for people to look at some research that's been done and decide what helps them support their claim and what doesn't really help them support their claim, and sort of throw out stuff that doesn't help them and only use stuff that does, right? And so those kind of facts that we're talking about sometimes don't provide the whole picture for readers. And as a reader, you have to be very critical in thinking about that. So as you move forward in the piece, in this box, you're going to have to think about some especially convincing facts and statistics. You need to write in complete sentences, okay? You need to think about facts that might not provide the whole picture and why. Again, you need to write in complete sentences. So you should not just look at the page where it says especially convincing facts and statistics. Your whole answer shouldn't just be 75%. And then down here you write that percent because it's just a percent. That doesn't make any sense, right? You're not going to get credit for that. If you said something along the lines of, on page 111, the author uses the statistic of 75% of 16-year-olds have been in a car accident after receiving their license. This is particularly convincing to me because this is a huge percentage, and that's concerning to me. That would be a good example. So you have to write in complete sentences, okay? At the end of class, you're going to submit this, and that is what you have to do for today, Thursday, April 30th. And I will see you all in May.